Greetings, friends. It's Denise again with Denise's Dancing Paintbrush. And something rather new, or at least different. I'm doing a watercolor this week, and it is a red rose. As you can see, I have to draw the picture first. I'm using 140-pound weight paper, and I'm going to wrinkle it. This effect gives you a wonderful background that you don't have to paint. It creates its own. It's an interesting effect, and it does some wonderful things. It can be used for so many things. So as you can see, once the picture is drawn, I take it to the sink and I wet the paper on both sides. Actually, if I had soaked the paper and wet it longer, the creases would have been more pronounced. But as soon as it's all wet, I wrinkle it up. I wad it up like I'm going to throw it away. Compact it as much as I can, because each of the wrinkles is really going to add to the whole effect. Then I begin painting the background immediately. And what happens is this watercolor, the paper has been bruised where it was wrinkled, and the watercolor will then soak through the paper in those areas and leave you a cracked glass look, like stained glass. It's a great effect that can be used for a number of things. Once the paper is completely dry, then I start painting my main subject. And you can see that my background actually soaked through into my rose drawing. That's not a problem. You'll see in the end it doesn't even show. It's not really that noticeable. As a matter of fact, it adds to the overall effect. And the paint that I'm putting on now, even though the paper is now dry, also will seep into those bruised parts of the paper and add to the cracked glass look. I found this a great effect for things like skies and clouds. I've seen it used as a background for a landscape. It implied a forest in the background, and it looked great. But as you can tell, it's a very uncontrolled method, and takes a little bravery to jump into, because it makes you feel like you're very out of control, which you are. And then again, you're not. You are staying within your drawing. Now the paper is wrinkled pretty much, and if you want it to get flatter, you can weigh it down with some books. I've even gone so far as to turn my paper over and iron it on the other side. It still remains wrinkled to a certain effect, but that does take some of the mountains and valleys out of the way. But I don't find it a problem, really. I find it a challenge, and I love a good challenge. Makes it more fun. So each time the paper dries in between the layers that I'm putting on, the paint always dries about 20 to 25% lighter than you put it down. So even though you think you've gotten your shadows in deep and dark enough, it won't be that way in 15 minutes when the paper is dry. Which is why I go back with more layers of color. Now this is my last layer. I think I'm nearly there. I'm just adding a few more details. And of course, the last thing to do would be to sign it. So what do you think? Is it over the top, wrinkled? Once you put it behind glass and frame it, it doesn't matter that it's wrinkled. Well, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I appreciate all my subscribers and my viewers. Do consider checking out some of my other things and give me a thumbs up if you liked this. And subscribe, it really helps my channel. Bye everyone, I'll see you all next week.